Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another perfume review video. My name is Naz. This is my channel, the King of Hidden Gems. I try to bring to your attention fragrances are usually very good value for money. They smell good, they're usually on the radar, not many people talk about them. I think at least you should do your research, try them for yourself and see if they're any good to you. So in this video I have an update for you, and this is a very quite obscure, unknown, very unknown brand that at least I never heard of them before, and this is called Scorpio. So Scorpio, and this is Rouge EDT Toilette 75 ml. In United Kingdom you can find around £30 or so, but because it's very obscure and unknown, it's very difficult to find. There's only one place in the United Kingdom you can find it right now, and that is eBay. But if you are interested in your country, in your area, Google it, see if it comes up and how much it goes for. So this one, it came out in 1989, so it is quite an old fragrance, but to me, for my taste, for my experience, for my age, it smells divine. It smells very classic, very classy, reminiscent of 70s and 80s perfumery, and also the smell of it. So you need to like your classical fragrances first and foremost to enjoy this. I would say for age, this is definitely 30 years and over, because this is quite mature. In terms of sex, although it's lean masculine, this is quite masculine, uber masculine actually. But if you like this kind of fragrances and you're a lady, you can easily wear it. There is no restriction. These things are only marketing. If you like a smell, wear it. If you don't like a smell, don't wear it. As simple as that. In terms of performance, I'm happy to say it performed very well, especially for Eau de Toilette, especially for the price. On my skin it went up to 8 hours. On the t-shirt and material goes over 10 hours. So very good performer for that Eau de Toilette, and also for the price of it. Actually, the next day when I woke up, I could smell it still smell it on t-shirt. So it's quite a good performer, especially for Eau de Toilette. In terms of the occasion, this is one of those very versatile fragrance. It could easily be somebody's signature scent. You can dress it up, dress it down, daytime, nighttime, special occasion, evening, daytime, casual, anything you want. It's very nice. In terms of season, again, all year round, summer, winter, no problem. In summer, less sprays. In winter, more spray. I put 10 sprays of it, and that was ample enough for me to smell it all day, and also next day when I woke up I could still smell it on a t-shirt. So you don't need to go more than 10. It's quite strong. So let's go to the smell of it. The smell of it, as I said, is very old school perfumery in here, but they've done a beautiful job of basically amalgamating every classical notes in here. It opens up like 60s and 70s fragrances. Okay, very herbal, very spicy, a little bit earthiness, very aromatic, and overall a little bit of sweetness in there as well. Not much, just a hint of sweetness. So this opens up, and it stays there like up to half an hour or so. I wish it stayed there all the way, because I love that smell of that herbal green, the leafy herbal. It's like you chopping herbs in front of you and smelling it. It's very attractive, at least for me, for my taste, for my age, for my experience. But later on, after 30 minutes or so, it warps and it becomes a little bit sweeter. It becomes a little bit fruitier, and it becomes ambery and woody. And although I like the smell of the dry down, but I wished it stayed like when it opened. So let me read you the ingredients and we'll take it from there. So on top we have bergamot and citruses. In the mid we have lavender, herbal notes and mint. And in the base we have woody notes, patchouli and sandalwood. Everything it says in here I get distinctly. It's very well blended, it's very well done, it's very, the ingredients for the price smells very, very good. So it opens up with big citrus, and as it says, bergamot and other citruses. This is citrus on top of citrus, so you get at least lemon, bergamot and grapefruit. So these three are together very, very happy, very inviting, very captivating. The only thing is the citrus in here is old school citrus, so it's not a bright citrus, it's deep citrus, which makes it a little bit on the dry fruit of things. Okay, so it's a deep dense citrus, and that with the amalgamation of the herbal notes in here. The biggest player by far when it opens up are the herbs. I can smell basil, I can smell mint, I can smell rosemary. So it's very, very herbal, and it's very green, and as I said, it's like you have herbs in front of you and chopping them together, and that smell of fresh herb, it comes up, and it stays like this for half an hour. So it's dominated by those herbs and green, minty, basil-y and rosemary, and also the lavender. The lavender in here again is an old school lavender, it's not a modern lavender, which is quite medicinal, earthy, herbal. The lavender in here giving it even more herbal smell to it. So beautifully gorgeous opening. Opening, I give it 10 out of 10, well, at least for my taste. Okay, gorgeous opening. Later on, as I said, after half an hour it warps and slowly becomes sweeter. The sweetness in the beginning is quite moderate, but later on gets a little bit sweeter, maybe around 5 or 6. So still not too much sweetness in here, but it is noticeable. And it becomes woodier. So it becomes woodier. The sandalwood, the cedar together here makes it very woody. It's very smooth. It's almost become buttery smooth, and the amber comes up. The amber in here is a sweet amber. It's not a deep dense amber, but it's not a bright amber either. So it's a medium amber. So it is a little bit gooiness to it, a little bit of stickiness to it, fruitiness. I'm not sure what kind of fruit in here. Actually, the name Rouge becomes more apparent when it goes to the dry down, you know, after half an hour or so. The rougeness of it, the redness of it comes up, so it becomes fruity. Smells like red apple, or maybe red berries, something like that. Red apple, red berries mixture of the notes, and it makes it a little bit fruitier, ambery, and also sweeter. And the patchouli giving it a little bit of that earthiness, and also the patchouli in here is an old school patchouli, which is mainly leafy, earthy, green patchouli rather than chocolatey one. So you can tell where it's going. So it smells very classic, smells very old school perfumery. The dry down, it gets a little bit modernized, but not too much. It still keeps the, the classical realm still there, still keep going. But I absolutely loved it, especially that for an opening, as I said, for my taste, it's 10 out of 10. Gorgeousness. It's very masculine, it's very spicy. Oh, the spices in here is not mentioned in here, but I get a little bit of cinnamon, especially in the dry down, the cinnamon comes up, and also nutmeg, giving it a little bit of nuttiness in here as well. But what a smell. So to some extent, it reminds me of Drakkar Noir by Guy Lorsch. Yes, to some extent, not a copy of it, but it has got some characteristic of that one. To some extent, it reminds me of what's his name, Oscar de la Renta pour Louis. I'm not sure why he's doing that, but when I smell it, it reminds me of that one. There is a leather aspect in the dry down, but again, the leather in here is quite soft, and it is old school leather rather than the modern school leather. So it's quite soft and almost like a suede like. So that aspect of it, I think it reminds me of Paul Louis by Oscar de la Renta, and also to some extent it reminds me of very famous fragrance which has been discontinued a few years now and is fetching a big penny, and many people love that fragrance, and that is Van Cleef and Arpels Pour Homme. Yes, to some extent reminds me of that one, especially the opening. The opening for the first half hour is almost identical to Van Cleef and Arpels Pour Homme, but later on it changes, it warps, and it becomes a little bit different from it. So you can tell where it's going to that extent, you know. Again, the other one it reminds me to some extent is Quorum. Quorum, yeah, Quorum to some extent, because again there's a leafiness in here, reminds me of that tobacco in Quorum, but again it's not a copy of it. It's just amalgamation of like a few fragrances in very famous in 80s, like Quorum, like Oscar de la Renta, Paul Louis, like Van Cleef and Arpels Pour Homme, and also what's his name, the Guy Lorsch Drakkar Noir. So you can tell where it's going. It's just like an amalgamation of these four, or similarity to these four, but it's none of those either. It's got its own character to some extent. But for that, I absolutely adore it. So if you find it for a good price and you like what I mentioned, similarities to, this is a no-brainer. Oh, also there's another one, Jack Bogart's Signature. So Jack Bogart's Signature, again, similarity to this, and especially the greenness of it is apparent in here as well. So if you like these 5 fragrances I mentioned, you will love this, because for a price, for a smell, for a perfumery, for a longevity, everything for the price, it just, for me, is a no-brainer if you like this kind of fragrances. As obviously you need to like your classical fragrances first and foremost. You need to like the 5 fragrances that I mentioned in this video, which got some similarities to these, but on its own, beautiful fragrance. At least if you are curious what perfumery was like in 1970s and 80s, you should try this and smell gorgeous. Okay guys, so that was the review of this fragrance, and if you like it, if you have it, if you know it, if you tried it, let us know your experience. And if you have any of those I mentioned in the video, let us know your experience with them as well. If you are somebody like me who is have a similar taste to me and you love this kind of fragrances, let us know your experience as well. That would be useful for others to read. If you like what I do, if you find it useful, informative, valuable, or entertaining, don't forget to hit those buttons. This way help me, encourage me, motivate me to bring you fragrances like this in future that nobody else is talking about. They're amazing value for money, they smell great, and they are hidden gems, and this beauty is definitely a hidden gem. If you like to purchase one of my own perfume and support me that way and get something very beautiful in return, you could do that, but you need to live in the United Kingdom in order to do so. I'll leave them in the link. They are out of this world, ultra beast mode, 100% natural, amazing value for money, very artistic, very unique, very mysterious. They are like time capsule. They take you different places, different time, and when you smell them, the first thing hits you is the quality of the perfumes. The ingredients of the quality of one of the highest in the world, if not the best in the world. Okay, I'll leave them in the link, and if you want to invite me to a coffee, you could do that as well. Thank you very much as always, and I'll see you later. Bye bye bye.